recap. Cass, I'm going to throw it to you first. The first game of the week, probably the best game of the week. We had the Baltimore Ravens escape the Cincinnati Bengals 35-34.
Yeah, I'm not sure if my camera's glitching a little bit on you guys, but if it's not, hopefully you can still hear me. But no, that was a good game. Really good game. Joe Burrow just creeping up the ranks in the MVP race for sure after that performance. Jamar Chase is right now, he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. I don't think it's really close right now. I don't really know what these LSU boys are drinking in LSU, but for him and Justin Jefferson to be this dynamic is crazy. And to at one point play together is even crazier. But Jamar Chase had his best performance yet, a legendary performance, a performance that is going to be talked about for a very long time. The Bengals always play the Ravens well, but it's a tough division. Division games are always going to be close for the most part. But when it comes down to it all, the better team won. It was very similar to the Washington Commanders and Steelers game, to where you got the Ravens. They're veterans. They've been there before. They have a really good team. They're leading their division. You got to find a way to beat teams that aren't on the same scale as you, no matter how close it is. And they did. And Lamar Jackson looked just as good as Lamar Jackson's ever looked throughout the entirety of it. And it's just one of those things where I think that was a game to where if you, for some reason, have not given Lamar Jackson his true credit, like, come on, bro. Like, the dude's a baller, man. He's a top 3 quarterback in the NFL right now, for sure, without a doubt, for sure. And right now, he's most likely going to be the MVP front runner again for the time being. So, Lamar, he did Lamar things, got everybody involved, put up a good chunk of yards, a couple touchdowns, and he took down a very tough Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase led Bengals team that played them very well. So hats off to the Ravens, man, because that was a game that they should have lost. Any other team plays the Bengals and they put up those kind of numbers, you're losing. Okay, unless you're like the Detroit Lions, you're more often than not losing. So, good game, very good game, very fun to watch. But the better team definitely won. And shout out to those of you who were brave enough to pick the Bengals to win, because that had to hurt.
Who did, Kel?
Yeah, not them Bengals. So moving on, the early game, Germany Giants losing to the Panthers 20-17. Toddy called me at halftime and said, "Kevin, you woke up to watch this game?" I said, "Yeah, man, I had to wake up and watch the game." So I'm waking up nice and early. I'm walking my dog. We're ready to go. 6:30 kickoff. I'm there. And my gosh, Chuba Hubbard deserves that extension. For him to go out there and rush for 183 yards on 28 attempts goes to show that Chuba Hubbard is a legit running back in this NFL. He was no one really gave him the respect he needed coming out of college. So for him to be in this position right now, they rely on that running game for a young quarterback in Bryce Young. So for them to get this running game going, keep pounding. Bryce Young, everyone's rooting against him. No one expected him to win this game, even against the Giants, and that says a lot. But for him to go out there 15-25, 126 yards, 1 touchdown, being a game manager, like I said, when your running back runs it 28 times, you don't really have to do too much. On the other side of the ball, Daniel Jones. I had the spread 2.5, my brother. That's all I needed. 2 red zones drives ended up in interceptions, and it's just painful. I couldn't imagine being a Giants fan for my life. Like,
oh my God.
The only bright spot is Malik Neighbors and Tyron Tracy Jr. Tyron Tracy Jr. 18 carries, 103 yards, 1 touchdown. But, maybe the Giants just say, fuck it. We're just going to sit back. We're going to tank. We're going to bring in Shador Sanders, Brian Daboll. Thank you for your service. Prime time is coming to the NFC East.
Oh, my God.
Shit's going to shake. And he's going to find out that this ain't Colorado. This is the NFL with big dogs. So, Toddy, moving on to you. Top 15 quarterback Caleb Williams can't score a touchdown. Now, 27 drives in a row without a touchdown. Top 15, number 1 overall pick. defeated by a guy who was drafted after him in Drake May, 19-3. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that correct. 19-3. Play that Michael Jordan theme music. Toddy, let the listeners know what you're feeling. For the audio-only listeners, Toddy has had his hand in his face since I brought up the game. His face in his hand, sorry.
This is looking very bad. It is a clusterfuck. Like it could. The fact that Hard Knocks came and they were playing the Michael Jordan music, as Kevin keeps alluding to, the Michael Jordan music, for people who don't know. Well, we were too young. Me and Kevin were. Kaz probably saw Michael Jordan play. Not trying to say that.
I'm about to say, man, don't say
hold on.
That's crazy.
But the music that he always came out to, they played that music.
Example.
They played that music as the opening of Hard Knocks when they for the first episode. And I've been a guy on this podcast, and my friend Khalil bullies me every day about is this your guy? This is your top 15 guy. He sends me memes constantly in the Instagram DMs, harasses me on a daily basis, and said, "You said this guy was better than Bryce Young. He's better than CJ Stroud. He's better than all of them." I said he was top 15 2 years ago, after the year he won his Heisman, and it's not looking good right now. I will add, his offensive line is very bad. Caleb does not see the field well. It's like, what are we like? He holds onto the ball way too long, and I'm looking at like, okay, Odunze's open. Let's just throw the ball that way. He's there. Cole Kmet, as a bunch of people are probably frustrated with him in fantasy, is not really getting targeted. DJ Moore is kind of very frustrated. We saw last week he kind of took a play off.
Free my man DJ Moore, bro.
Play off time. He ran out of bounds. He quit.
This team is so talented, and it's frustrating to watch on how talented this team is, and they can't score. Like, why can't they? I feel like everything is bad. Like, Caleb's playing bad. The OC is bad. Eberflus sucks. The whole line is bad. It's everything.
Caleb is bad.
Like, I already said Caleb is bad. But, like, everything about this organization is it's depressing and disappointing. And I don't know why everybody thought, like, when the Jets last year thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be a savior, and they had that disappointing season, and now Aaron Rodgers is back, and they still suck. That's kind of how I feel about with this Bears team, and how Caleb was going to come, save the day. He was telling the punter, you ain't going to be punting like that anymore. And so
that boy got a full-time job now.
He's out there.
That boy punting all the time.
That boy legs sore as hell.
Can I take the week off, coach? My leg is hurting. You want me to be like the Niners kicker? I need a break.
This team is frustrating. This is a team I picked to win the division. This is a team I picked to go to the NFC Championship game.
Oh my God.
It's blowing up in my face. I bet I fell for it again. This was my Saints. Yes, last year, this is what I thought the Saints would be. Saints were ass last year. And now the Bears. I fell into the trap, guys. I bit the cheese, ladies and gentlemen. And it is like, let's just go off rookie quarterbacks. Like, Jaden Daniels is better. Drake May's better. Bo Nix is better. And we haven't even seen Penix play. I mean, God,
at this point,
he's better. I mean, without him not playing, he's better.
It's like it's so like when you watch him play, it's like, bro, like, why are we holding on to the ball? Why are we getting scared in the pocket? Hit the open, like, guys are open, but it's just like he's not seeing the field. And this is not the guy that I saw in college. This is not the guy I saw win the Heisman Trophy. This is not the same guy. I don't know where he is now.
Dare I say bust?
I can't go that
Zach
far.
Wilson, Marcus Russell.
I can't say that because I think the talent is there. I think he needs an offensive guy to save him.
Like, he threw for 43 yards, Toddy. 43.
It's
6-13.
Very bad. Horrendous. Like, I'm not defending him. I can't defend him. I'm getting picked while I'm down here.
That
Like,
man
I'm
got Cole
tied-
Kmet,
I'm
DJ
tied to
Moore,
a
Roma
chair.
Dunze,
I'm
and Keenan Allen.
I'm getting tied to a chair and they're throwing eggs at me. They're throwing tomatoes at me. Like I can't do anything. Like it's bad. It's horrendous. And I mean, is it better than Bryce Young?
Sir, no sir.
Like,
So
that's a legit question. Last year, Bryce Young was terrible. He looks a little bit better this year, but I mean,
He's better than Bryce Young. He's better than Bryce Young. It's just not
wins
that
the
much.
Bears
I would
got
hope
3.
so.
They
Like,
got 4. They got 4.
Bryce Young's 2 away.
It's just so frustrating to watch them play. Like, they were favored by 6 points to win. They were favored by 6, like literally a touchdown to win this game, and they weren't even close. They couldn't do shit on offense.
Yeah,
against the Patriots. Like, this is the Patriots. You're at home against the Patriots.
They were undefeated at home too, by the way.
This isn't like you're going against the freaking like Chiefs or you're going against the Steelers, one of the Bills, like one of those top AFC. This is the bottom tier of the AFC East. The Patriots. Drake May, like, if you're just a person that didn't know shit about football and this was the first game that you ever watched, you would be like, oh, that guy, the other guy on the other team, like he was the number 1 pick, right? No, actually, it was the guy that threw for 43 yards. So, I mean, I can't say I'm done with them, but it's just like I'm just punting on the Bears in general as the season goes on. Like, they need to just clean house. I feel like Poles is going to have to find a new coach. They got to get a whole new offensive line. I feel like their defense is still like good. They have good players. Like, they have good players on offense. I feel like they have good players on defense. I think their coaching is really bad and their O-line is really bad. And Caleb he's not playing well. So they need to change.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on there, and they need to figure it out quick. But Kaz, I'm gonna throw a team next. The Buffalo Bills continue their winning streak, beating the Indianapolis Colts 30-20.
Oh my lord. Shout out Jonathan Taylor. That's about all I can say about the Colts, man. He had a really good game. We all knew the Bills were going to win. I was surprised it was 30-20. It should have been probably 30-0. You got Joe Flacco out there, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 272. And they already announced that they're going to start him again, by the way, already. Like, they're going to continue to start Flacco, like moving on, which I think at this point.
I say so.
What's that?
Steichen said he's the quarterback until I say so.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's what I'll say. At this point, your team's not good. You're probably not going to win your division. You're probably not going to make the playoffs. I mean, maybe he has some hope and thinks that Joe Flacco can string a couple wins together and they can kind of squeak in at that 7th seed, but highly unlikely from the way things are looking. But what I'll say is, Josh Allen, 22 of 37, 280 yards, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. Okay. And they still win 30-20. That's just what happens when you got a really good team going against a really bad team. That's the only reason why it was close. Okay. Josh didn't have a good game. The Bills had a bad game. It was pretty equivalent to the Lions against the Texans, to where, they did not play well at all, but they still won. It actually shows more about the Buffalo Bills than it does about the Indianapolis Colts put up 20 points. If the Bills can play like that, where their quarterback can't even get in the end zone and is turning the ball over, and you still win by 10, you're still a good team. You don't need to hit the panic button at all. But like I said, I think we all picked the Bills to win this game. At least I hope you did. And for the gamblers out there that didn't, you're crazy. In no way, shape, or form should you have picked the Colts to even cover the spread, which they obviously didn't as well. But yeah, when it came to that game, it was just one of those. It was very one-dimensional. It was Buffalo all day, and with the turnovers, the Colts capitalized a little bit, but it wasn't enough because the Colts just didn't have anything going for them. It's like you turn the ball over, then later on you turn the ball over right back. So very sloppy game. Defenses didn't show up on either end really for the most part, but the better team won. Josh Allen, you had a stinker finally. You were doing really well with not turning the ball over this season. You got, I feel like a lot of quarterbacks this week kind of had kind of a down week. A lot of turnovers, a lot of interceptions. I mean, even our boy Jalen, he had 2 turnovers for the first time in what, 5 weeks or 4 or 5 games. So these things happen. Nobody's perfect. I just think that we're at that point of the season, like I mentioned before, where we're going to see some stale football. All right. We're not going to see the 40-point games anymore. People are looking to preserve a lot of, energy and as much as they can for the playoffs. In Buffalo, they're clearly going to win the division. If you can get away with the win and keep your guys healthy, do that. They weren't playing a good team. They should have won the game. They did win the game, and they did it in a very subpar fashion. So kudos to the Colts for at least putting up 20. I was surprised by that, but Bills all day, easily.
You're talking about defense. Oh, go ahead, Tyler. What were you saying?
I was just saying the Bills got the Chiefs next week at home. They're favored by 2.5.
That's gonna be a good game. But Cavs, you mentioned defense, and this game I'm gonna bring up, nothing but defense was played. The Denver Broncos lose 16-14 to the Kansas City Chiefs. Toddy, I promise to God, hand on the Bible, I saw that the Chiefs were minus 100,000 before the field goal. I said, you know what? It's Patrick Mahomes. Let me think about sprinkling 10 on it. And as soon as I was gonna hit enter, they kicked it, and I couldn't do it. But boy, 20 seconds later, would have been the man. But Kansas City continues week after week after week after week to get the fucking job done. That's all they do. That's all they care about is the W. They don't care about the stats. They don't care about how it looks. They're going to get it done. The Denver Broncos had this team beat. Bo Nix is looking like a top quarterback in his division, if not the second best quarterback. Justin Herbert is now finally starting to sling it a little bit, so now we're able to see him flourish with this new offense under Jim McCarthy. So it's going to be interesting. The Broncos did a lot. They did everything they could. Cortland Sutton is turning back time. They are doing whatever it takes to get there. And for the Chiefs to go in at halftime and say they're not scoring again, for them to pitch a shutout shows a lot about this team. This defense is one of the best. All people talk about on all the talking heads about how they're comparing this team to the early Tom Brady Patriots, where Tom Brady doesn't have to do too much because this defense is going to hold it down. And that's what it's looking like. So, Toddy, I threw you a game to sit there and laugh at you. So now I'm going to throw a game for us to sit back and let you lie to the fans and say that you guys are back. But the San Francisco 49ers escape the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 23-20, Toddy. Let's hear it.
It was a lot going into this game. Obviously, CMC coming back. We also got Jaevon Jennings back, as Kev likes to call him, third and Jawan. What happens when Brandon not you? It's got to be 1, 2, 3. Jaevon Jennings is a good receiver, Kevin. Let's just put that out.
Buccaneers, Toddy.
Okay. Well, he's going to continue. Shanahan says he's going to be playing X the rest of the year. His first time.
Who else you got to put out there?
Hey,
that wasn't a surprise to anybody. You're not going to put Ricky out there.
Well, hey. Ricky's coming along.
Ricky Pearsall.
Hey, come on. You seen it? He's hey, he was hitting it in the end zone. Y'all see that, huh? Y'all see that boy out there? Boy just got shot 2 months ago. Now what, he out there dancing in the end zone? Hey now. All right, but Brock, I thought Brock played well. He's pressured a lot throughout this game. 3 for 350. He led the NFL in passing yards this week. CMC looked like CMC. I think he just had to get into the swing of things a little bit. He didn't have the 120 yards that you're accustomed to seeing. But he was very effective in the pass game and in the run game as well. George Kittle, playing like the best tight end in football, had the go-ahead touchdown in the back of the end zone. I think that was on third down too. Like I already mentioned, Jaevon Jennings, Ricky Pearsall is coming into his own. He just needs to just play more, honestly. Didn't really get a chance to practice, obviously, with the, what happened, obviously, in the offseason. He missed a bunch of time. So now he's getting all that time back. And I'm just saying, man, when he gets out there, he's going to be able to make plays. Want to give a shout out to Renardo Green, our star defensive back, is dealing with the loss of his daughter. So he did not suit up in this game. So the rookie Renardo Green got to suit up, and I thought he played phenomenal. Made a bunch of plays on the outside. Had a couple of PBUs, and wasn't a problem for us out there. And this game was way closer than it needed to be. Obviously, Jake Moody, I swear to God, the things that I wanted to do to that man.
Don't worry, Debo got you. Debo got you. He got you, bro. He got
Debo,
you.
yeah, I was gonna get to that. Debo expressed his frustrations.
They're in shambles over there,
on
guys.
the
Shambles.
on the sideline, and I mean, I would imagine after you miss, you miss the first one, it's like, all right, we'll get him next time. You miss the second one, it's like, all right, it's time to, let's wake the fuck up. Okay, we're missing out on points. You miss a third field goal, you're gonna start to annoy the guys that are going out there every play, like, hey, bro, like, you need to do your fucking job. And when we got down, I mean, kind of what led up to everything, when Baker drove down the field, the fourth down was insane. When Nick Bosa was like grabbing on his arm and Baker threw an insane one-armed pass
Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, to Sterling Shepard, who's been playing out of his ass lately.
Turning back time.
It was just crazy to watch all of the face masks and personal fouls that we decided to commit on the last drive to literally try and hand them the game. We had 45 yards in penalties on one drive. Like, it was insane on how piss poor the defense played on the last drive of the game. But they nutted up and forced a field goal, which ended up tying the game, giving us, I think we had a minute and some change, and we only had one timeout. So Brock put his big boy pants on and led the team down the field, got us a field goal range. And when they sent Moody out there, first off, the play before that, Jawan Jennings had an insane catch.
Didn't get out of the house.
And I feel like if Jawan doesn't get those extra yards, we probably lose the game in overtime. Because he got an extra 15-ish yards in yak after the catch to get us a little bit closer. I thought that was huge for us. And then when they sent Moody out there to kick the potential game-winning field goal, I said, Soph, I need you to come in here. She's in there making breakfast. I said, I need you to hold my hand. I got my son in my arms. He's asleep. I can't scream. I can't yell. I'm like, I just need you to
squeeze the shit out of your hand.
I just need you to be here with me in this moment right now. Because this guy's missed 3 field goals. I have zero faith in him. There was a report that came out that multiple guys on the sideline could not watch the last play of the game because, as all Niner fans that were probably in the stands and at home watching were like, he's going to shank this field goal. We're going to go into overtime. And I don't know what's going to happen. They send Moody back out there. He squeaks it in. He squeaks in the field goal. And we escape, as Kevin says, with a victory. The game was way closer than it needed to be, shouldn't have been. I feel like the offense needs to be better in the red zone. That's been a kind of our shtick, as some people might say, is the red zone. Red zone offense hasn't been good for us.